All right, Rob. Everyone, welcome back. Episode 51, Four Train Savages podcast. Got a really awesome guest back in the Zoom room today, Rob. Keith McPherson of Pinstripe Strong, talking Nets. Newlywed, congratulations. Had to get Keith to squeeze a little bit of his time to come on for us, and we appreciate that. So we're hyped to have you on, Keith. Boys, what's up?
What's up? What's up? Congrats, Keith. Congrats, brother.
Thank you. The wedding part is done. I was just telling you guys before we started recording that the ceremony, the party is later. So still got a little bit more to do on that end, but the paperwork and the marriage license is finalized, and I feel good about that. And I had a great 4th of July weekend, saw some fireworks. The city fireworks were amazing last night. Went to a couple barbecues, pool parties, felt like regular summer vibes, felt like we're back to doing what we're supposed to be doing. How was you guys for the July weekend?
Mine was good, dude. I mean, I was with the fam, barbecue, couple seltzers, couple burgers, stuff like that. I actually, dude, I saw a bunch of Instagram stories and snaps of the city looking wild the last couple days, and it seems like everyone's like, all right, this is 2021, and we're doing it now. Like we're doing the thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Mine was pretty chill. Same thing with Tyler, kind of like just chilling out with the fam, stuff like that. A couple 2-tree beers. But I did unfortunately watch every single one of these Yankee games. So I kind of wish I did not do that. But other than that, it was a pretty solid weekend. The weather kind of started off a little shaky, but pulled through on Sunday pretty good around our area. So, can't complain. It's nice to see everything getting back and people getting back into the swing of things, and it's looking pretty normal or close to normal as it ever has since the pandemic kind of started. So it's good.
Yeah, we almost got screwed with because Memorial Day weekend was a crapshoot weather-wise.
Yeah.
And then I thought we were about to get screwed with the 4th too, because at the beginning of the week, or at least towards the middle of the week, I think it was supposed to rain Saturday and Sunday. But we got some decent weather out of it. Can't complain.
And we got the games in. We were able to figure out how to get this series in, and it was looking like they were going to have to push it, but they pushed it into 2 7-inning doubleheader games on Sunday, and obviously got the game in on Saturday. So really only Friday got pushed, but we lost that series.
Yeah. I mean, and it's getting to the point where, I mean, there's that saying, what's the saying? Is it you are who you are by June, or is it July? Because I think we're getting to the point where the Yanks are who the Yanks are. I mean, guys, we've obviously lost the last 2 series. Yanks dropped 2 out of 3 against the Angels, and should have been a 4-game set, but then ended up losing 2 out of 3 against the Mets as well. Dropped the first 2 in this series. What are do we want to kick off with a recap first, Rob? We want to kind of go into some thoughts. What are you thinking?
Let's go through the games real quick, because like there's the first 2 games. I mean, there's a lot to dissect, so I think we should just kind of get through them and then allow our thoughts to kind of play out here on what we got going on with this team, because there's a lot of thoughts to be going around, not just around the players and stuff and everything. So could start with game one. Game one ended up being played on Saturday. Weather was real shaky, still kind of in the morning. It was a little off, but we still were able to play this game through. I think this game was when we had Monty on the bump, right?
Yes,
Monty
sir.
versus Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker's been very good. He kind of proved me wrong. I was kind of he was the only the Mets were the only suitors for him in the offseason. So take that for what it is, Yankee fans, and we got our starters for who they are, and we'll get into that. But yeah, Taijuan Walker did himself. We were getting no hit for 5 innings, boys. It was not looking good. He went 5 2/3, 2 hits given up, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. And Monty also was not terrible. A lot of soft contact. If you're watching the game through and through, other than looking at the box score, went 4 1/3, 6 hits given up, 3 earned runs, and 3 walks. But kind of to go through this game, Dom Smith went ahead and in the 5th inning, and it started late. They were kind of dealing through 5 or through 4, about 4, and Dom Smith goes ahead and singles, gets Brandon Nimmo in. Lindor went over, and then McCann singles him in. And then it kind of just went from there, and it just kind of it all started unraveling. Unraveled very quick. And you're saying, Tyler and me were texting back and forth, and we're saying, what is going on with all this soft contact? They were just, it was a lot like, to a little bit more of an extent, because they were kind of hitting it into the outfield, Tyler. But you remember that Boston game where Monty was just getting killed by these like little dinks?
Shit's just falling. I mean, it's insanely frustrating to watch as a fan.
Yeah, you gotta blame one guy in this game. There's only one guy to blame in this.
Oh yeah, and I'm about ready to strap him to a rocket. I believe. I mean, he's been.
This guy sucks. This guy shouldn't be on this team. It's another product of Cashman's bargain bin hunting. This guy went looking for relief pitchers out of the clearance rack, and we get a former Met in Justin Wilson, who has been completely trash. He hasn't had one good showing. He's been on the IL, I think 2, maybe 3 times. I think this was his second IL stint. So he comes back, and the first time we see him is in relief in this game, and he didn't get an out. He didn't record one single out, and he gave up 5 earned runs. That blew the entire game.
Yeah,
just really bad, bro.
And that's what doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I'm sure, guys, we can kind of share similar frustrations on that. Is, we had a rain out the day before, and the pen was fully rested, and we go from Litke directly to Justin Wilson in a 3-run game. Is that a punt like mid game? I don't understand that. I mean, you have Loaizaga, you got Mike King, you got Chad Green, you got, essentially, you even have Darren O'Day back. You have essentially anyone aside from Justin Wilson.
What bothers me is it falls on Boone, because it's like, bro, like this weekend was a perfect series to look at Boone's decisions with this bullpen and be like,
a lot, yeah.
Are they his decisions as the manager, or are these decisions coming down from the analytical nerds? Are these decisions coming down from Cashman's goons saying, Justin Wilson is back, he needs some work, let's throw him in, right? Litke only recorded 2 outs. Monty went 4 1/3. Litke comes in, gets the other 2 outs. And then they're like, let's get Justin Wilson some work down 3.
Yeah.
We're already down 3. This guy's only going to make it worse. Now you're down 8. And it's like, God damn it. Like, are these guys just experimenting in the Subway series? They're just experimenting and throwing guys out there to get them work in the crosstown rivalry against the team, the other team from New York. Like, there's no pride on the line. Like, we don't need to win these games. Let's just throw them out there. It's unfortunate, but it's like, we have to have better options than this.
Or just better like you said, common sense. And like you said, Keith, I mean, Justin Wilson did not record an out in this game. He went 0.0 innings pitched, gave up 5 earned. And I think his ERA only, not that ERAs are the most, telling stat, but it only jumped a couple points.
When you're bad,
that shows how bad he's been.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
He's bad, man. It's not good. I thought he would have been somewhat serviceable, but he just is falling off the deep end of like a lot of the dudes on this. Some of them on the bullpen are now just kind of falling apart, but we have some unsung heroes that are coming up, but that we'll talk about later for game 3. But
bring me Albert Abreu.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. We're at that over
Justin Wilson.
We're at that point, man. Judge and then further in the game, bottom of the 6th, Judge gets a home run, and then we get some ducks on the pond. Gio ends up capitalizing, gets in 2 runs with Stanton and Voit, and then Torres gets the second, and then Miguel Andujar comes up there just whiffing. Really bad swing. I think it was like a 2-2 count, and then after that, that's all she wrote. And we go down 8-3 and drop the first game, and it's just after the game on Wednesday that I ran into Keith and his wife at the stadium. That was just, Keith, were you there the whole game? I don't think so, right? I think you said you went home.
So I actually got our names on the scoreboard. I got congratulations.
I saw that, yeah.
And
let's
McPherson go on the scoreboard. So I really was only waiting until that popped up, and that took forever to pop up because I think the first rain delay, we were in the 3rd inning and we'd already been playing for like 2 hours. I think I left around like 10:50, 11 o'clock. I didn't stay after the second rain delay. I hung out for a little bit, but my girl wasn't beat for it. She's like, we gotta get home. She had work in the morning, and Nah, if I would have stayed, man, like my boy Joe's McFly stayed with no one.
I felt bad when I heard it.
All the way and rooting on the Yankees, and they just got their hearts broken. I watched in my bed, so I'm glad I did actually leave. I'm not one to leave the stadium before the final out, but in that case, I had to go, and I'm glad I made that decision.
Yeah, there was I was debating because I live in Connecticut, so and there was no more trains coming by, so it was kind of a blessing in disguise for them to just let me go home because I was on the train, bro. When I look at the update, I go, Chapman's got the fucking bases loaded right now. You got to be kidding me. And next thing he goes, some kid goes, holy shit, he just gave it up. So it's like same man, like it's unreal. It's really unreal, and just to have that happen and then come out the way they did in the first game
after a team meeting too,
after a players only meeting that I said up until the third game, they were 0-3. So clearly that shit's not fucking working. Whoever's talking in there.
Doesn't
matter. So that's what happens in game one. And then we have even more fun to talk about in game two. This was going to be a doubleheader, so we get the Mickey Mouse rules in 7 innings. And honestly, boys, this is the first time that I was like, I'm okay with the Mickey Mouse rules because I'm not sure if I can tolerate 2 not full 9-inning games with the New York Yankees. So I was like, okay, we'll see what happens.
Just get it in and out at this point.
just see if we can
might benefit us, right? You think, hey, we're blowing these games late in the 9th inning. Nah, we'll figure out a way to blow it in the 7th inning.
Pretty much. So this one is our guy, our ace, Garrett Cole.
GC.
Trying to be the stopper, man. Trying to be the guy that we throw out there every 5th day and we say, we're going to get a dub right here. We are going to win this game. Gives up a solo home run to Dom Smith, who has really picked it up in these past 2 years. I like him for the Mets. He homers, and then we get some ducks on the pond again. Stanton and Glaber and Kyle Higashioka, we're talking about the personal catcher stuff. It's weird because like Kyle Higashioka seems to hit the days that he does catch. Because what was the other game, the last game, the Royals game, that it was like everyone was super up in arms and then he comes out and hits a home run. So it's just like, it's weird because he has an uncanny ability to just be able to produce on the days that he does catch sometimes. But still, we should probably have Gary in there, but that's a conversation that we talk about later. And then Tim LaCastro finally gets a debut, sacrifice, and gets in Gardy. This was like the first at bat. I don't know if you guys were, I don't think you were watching, Tyler, but Keith, in this one, LaCastro, he really did a good job at changing his approach in the at bat. And it was like kind of weird because if you kind of saw it, I think he went down 1-2 or 0-2. And this is like the first time probably in baseball I've seen a dude choke up, and he was able to make contact with the ball and get it out. Underrated sac fly, courtesy Pinstripe Strong, you guys. And he makes the ball game 3-1 or 4-1. And then top of the 4th, Nito gets in a run, or Nimmo and Lindor, and then they tie it up 4-4. And then our best friend this year, which is apparently just wild pitches. I mean, it's probably up there for a lot of RBIs. I think we had two in the 2 games, but LeMahieu was able to score on a Stroman wild pitch. And we go up 5-4. And we ended up in the top of the 6th. Yes, just remembering. Top of the 6th, and we get into trouble. Chad Green comes in, gets us out 2 pitches. And you're thinking, okay, Chad Green, not doing too bad. I mean, he's got very good numbers. If you look at all the relief pitchers on this day, Aroldis Chapman was the one to make the All-Star team. You would think that Johnny Lasagna or Chad Green are the guys that are making this All-Star team. You look at the numbers, you say, he's only thrown 2 pitches. Why don't you keep him in there? It's a little bit too soon to put in Aroldis Chapman in this game. No. We're gonna fight through it. We're gonna let him pitch this. And Pete Alonso goes ahead on a slider. I mean, Chapman blew him away with 2 fastballs, really, looked pretty in control on those 2 pitches. And then and Higgy admitted it, that he took blame for it as well. But he throws the slider, and then Alonso just takes him to left center, man. And you could just see the frustration through everyone's face. The air was just, half of the air, because there were a lot of Mets fans at these games. I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. I know they were well represented, if not more Mets fans at this game. You just have to call it the way it is. But you could just tell on the look of all those Yankee fans that they would show on the TV. Yankees Twitter was just saying, what the fuck?
What the fuck happened?
What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, this is just, it's honestly mind-boggling that we were, and Boone's excuse after the game is that we're saving Chad for the next game. Don't we live in the present? Don't we want to win the games now and focus on the whole talk before the Angels game was we have our backs up against the wall. The season is on the line. The season is on the line. But no. We gonna be okay, and we're gonna just save the players for the last game. And we're gonna there are just too many times, and this is just what is happening with the organization right now. And we'll get into more of it past the games, but they're just focusing too much on, oh, we have to look down the road. No. This is the issue of why they're in the hole they are now, is they are too much not looking in the present and the present lineups, the present players, the position moves, everything. And they're looking too forward to getting to the end goal without taking care of business when they should be. And it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous.
The Yankees seem to outsmart themselves too much. They're too smart for their own good. They have all these ideas that they cook up, and then when they roll them out and they backfire, they give us this excuse of, oh, well, we were thinking, or we were doing, or, oh, we thought Gleyber Torres could be our full-time shortstop. Oh, we thought Clint Frazier was ready to be our everyday left fielder. No, we thought Giancarlo Stanton would be best utilized as a DH. No, we thought we had to give Justin Wilson another opportunity to get going while we were in the game. No, we thought we couldn't waste any more bullets from Chad Green because we needed to use him in Sunday Night Baseball. We thought, even though everybody in the world knows that Aroldis Chapman is broken right now, that he ain't the same guy right now. He looked bad against the Twins when he gave it up. He looked bad against the Royals. Triple Play bailed him out. He looked bad this
Toronto too.
He's been bad, but the smart Yankees, right? The Yankees are so smart. They say, this might be the time. Our analytics tell us he can't be that bad this time. And they do it again, and they look stupid, and they say, oh, well, this was the plan, and this is what we thought. Instead of just playing Yankee baseball, they've really gotten into this whole analytical, trying to be the smartest guys in the room. This team isn't built like the smartest guys in the room. Do what you do best, and don't make so many random moves that aren't dictated by the flow of the game. Do what the game dictates. Don't do what you wrote down on a piece of paper before you got in the game, knowing what the game was going to be like.
Yeah, Keith, you hit it right on the head there. It does feel like all these moves are scripted before, X, Y, and Z even happens. I think Boone knew going into this game, or was told going into this game, or whoever makes the decisions knew, I don't care if Chappie has like a 300 ERA over the last 6-7 appearances he's made. He's coming in regardless. I don't care if Chad Green throws 1 or 2 or 3 pitches. Chad or 10. He's coming out after whatever outing he makes because we need him for some sort of length in the second game, which is, let's get to the second game first. Let's win this one now, like you said. And I feel like yours truly, John Boy had a pretty good point, I thought, on this. They had a built-in excuse already to not, if they wanted to like low-key demote Chappie for like this series even, and say, hey, we didn't want to use Chapman in that situation because we're saving him for game 2 and roll with Greeny because you low-key demoted him, but you're not putting it out there like you actually did. But when push comes to shove it, the smarter decision was to obviously leave Greeny out there, and he looked phenomenal in that appearance. And then he also looked great in game 2. Cause it sucks. Cause if Chappie doesn't make an appearance in this game, and then also against the Angels, you're talking about 2 back-to-back series wins here. Not 2 absolutely heartbreaking losses of the season.
I would just also make a point, because the whole conversation like in the past years has been, it's not really Boone doing it. It's Cashman pulling the strings, right? That's kind of what we think. And to a large degree, a lot of the moves, we think that's what it is. And we'll get on to Cashman later in the pod after we talk about the rest of the games. But this was something kind of alarming that I heard, or I've maybe read something, but an interesting conversation to talk about. If you guys remember, Tyler, I think this may have been the game that you were sick and you weren't really watching. It was the Kansas City game that ended up being the really good.
When I fell asleep like 8th inning or something.
Yes. Yeah. The game where it was a very exciting finish, probably the most exciting finish that we've had all year, I would say. when Luke Voigt's walk-off. But something that happened in that game was where we had runners on, I believe it was second and third, and Boone comes out to the mound and looks at Chapman, and you could tell Chapman has the face that he's like, I want this fucking guy. Carlos Santana, like I said, professional hitter, the kind of guy that in baseball terms would like go to the YMCA and would always get you a bucket. That is what Carlos Santana does. He always gets you a hit, and he hits for power, and he will get someone, get someone in, get an RBI. And Boone goes to the mound, looks at Chapman. He says, you could tell what the conversation was. I think John Boy may have done a like a lip reading thing because he's so good at it. I'm not sure if he did, but he probably did. And you could see Boone having the conversation with him, and he's saying, Chapman's like, I want this guy. And, Boone's asking his opinion. So it goes back to the dugout, walk him. And Chapman looks at him like, what the fuck? I just talked about. It's
terrible.
It's terrible. It's really just, that is like missed line of communication. You go up to the pitcher and you say, we're walking this guy. Then the next dude that comes up is a guy that I think,
was a backup catcher. In for Salvador Perez that nobody ever heard of.
He didn't have. I don't even think he had a major league hit yet.
So that instance, then fast forwarding to Saturday, you're saying like this is where I think that it was a Boone decision and not really what Cashman was wanting. And he's saying, okay, he's like, I'm just gonna throw Chapman out there, and we're gonna try. And it's just that kind of stuff that tells me that Boone is just not qualified for this position. His time has been too, it's overstayed. People talk about, should he be fired midseason? Personally, I think it could light a spark and then just throw Carlos Mendoza out and let him be the interim manager and then worry about it later. Because it's just that type of shit, man. And then him to come out and say that in the press conference about we were saving Chad Green. I thought like people were bitching and moaning about fucking Girardi and the bullpen moves, but now it's just like this shit is taken to another level with that. I was just like, are you serious, man? I couldn't believe that. I really couldn't. And he admitted it. If he stuck to his guns and was like, yo, he admitted that he was saving Chad Green. If he just said, no, we wanted to get Chapman out there. Like, what are you doing, man? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's stupid. The biggest thing is that, one thing happens, we as fans will see it, and then there's the post game. And I've stopped watching the post game. The most I can do is listen to WFAN, and then Sweeney Murdy will take you through the post game, and then you'll get bits and pieces from it. But I can't stand to watch Aaron Boone explain what went on. I can't stand to watch the reporters ask him these questions, and then we get his answers, and he's always positive, and I call him the cool dad. Like, he just always wants to be the cool dad. He never wants to be the dad that's going to reprimand you or tell you what to do or be stern or discipline you. He's always got to be the cool dad. Well, he's not going to get fired. He's not going to get fired mid-season because he's Cashman's guy. They didn't re-sign Joe Girardi, and they plucked Boone out of the ESPN broadcast booth.
Swing imitator, man. That's where he belongs.
To literally do what he's doing, right? They picked him not because of he had no prior managing experience. They picked him because of his media presence. They picked him because they knew he'd be good talking in the post game. And they handed him the keys to a Ferrari, as some people called it. It's depreciated a ton. I wouldn't call this team a Ferrari anymore.
Yeah, really. Well, I'm pretty sure those nice cars usually do sometimes depreciate, so it kind of fits.
Yeah, and it's like you thought because he had back-to-back 100-win seasons, he was a good manager. We got fooled by the whole Savages in the box rant and the phenomenon.
It's okay. They gave us a name for the pod, Keith. They gave us a name.
Yeah, but like we got fooled into thinking like that was Boone's moment, right? Like, that's my manager now. That was his moment. That was a cool viral moment. It damn sure helped John Boy Media and us guys. It helped you guys come up with your name. But now here we are, like, this guy can't even do simple things like manage his team right, manage his guys right. You're supposed to know that something's up with Chappie. You're supposed to know that Chad Green is lights out. You're supposed to know that. You're supposed to know what buttons to press in a game that we are supposed to win. And it's unfortunate to see, like, the wrong buttons get pressed and then us having these epic collapses and fails. And they happened in the same week, Wednesday and Saturday. Those are epic fails. Those are games that you should have won, that you had the lead and you didn't make the right moves in the bullpen. You see Chapman in the Royal Series throwing his glove, screaming in the dugout. That's a red flag. Something is up. That shows you right there that, like, okay, this guy is pissed off because he don't have it and his manager don't have faith in him. And he's embarrassed because they went out there and talked about it and then did the opposite, kind of showed him up. Yeah. And the Yankees are a mess right now. It doesn't matter if Aaron Judge calls a team meeting. Who the fuck is Aaron Judge? Aaron Judge ain't won shit. Like, his MVP should have won. We all know that. Went to Jose Altuve. Fuck Altuve. That's the favorite chant of Yankee fans. We're a mess, bro. This whole thing is a mess, and no one wants to be held accountable, really. You get Hal Steinbrenner on a Zoom call basically saying, these guys are the right coaches. These guys are the right guys. The players got to be better. Well, whose fault is it? Like, someone's got to start taking accountability. Heads will not roll. And this team being a 500 team is what I think they will be in the second half of the season as well. And I hope we don't make the postseason. I'm a Yankee fan, and I root for us to make the postseason. But do we want to get all hyped up for another postseason exit? How far do you think this team is built to go in the postseason? You know, I'd rather not, man. I'd rather them figure it out. I'd rather them start blowing shit up to figure it out. This is not the year. And a couple trades at the deadline is not going to do it, because these guys, I don't think they fear Boone. I don't think they trust Boone. I don't think they respect Boone. And there's nobody on that team that has won anything, like a CC Sabathia, that can stand in there and be like, I got a Cy Young. I got a World Series ring. I got pedigree. Brett Gardner, yes, he has a World Series ring, but he's not good anymore. He's washed, and he's also the prankster. We already know his role.
Yeah.
And it's tough to be the prankster and then turn the switch and be like, I'm going to yell and scream and get guys fired up.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok,
and
go. Flat out deceived.
Literally,
it's tough, dude. Like you said, Keith. We've beat this dead horse so many times on this pod, and I'm sure other Yankee pods have done the same thing. There's no accountability, like you said. Heads are not going to roll midseason. That's the vibe. How. Not even just that he gives, it's, what he said, basically. He kind of said he's not letting play. I mean, coaches are not going under midseason. Changes are not going to be made. And, yeah, this is a 500 team. I mean, if we even prorate last year's record over a 162-game season, that's an 89-win team. And this year we're on pace for what, like 82, 83, 81?
I think it's 82, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, this is kind of what we are. A team, station to station, doesn't run the bases, has no accountability. Pitchers aren't afraid of the big bad Yankees. We lack athletic ability on this team. We don't play defense. We give the opponent free outs. It's like it's a traveling circus act at this point, and it's tough because I don't even feel like they've played 500 baseball this season. I feel like they should be 10 games under 500.
Yeah.
It's the way that they lose games that makes you feel like that. It's the mistakes that you see, the base running errors, not hitting the cutoff man, airmailing throws, easy throws to first base, pulling Luke Voigt off the bench. It's like the simple things and the way that the Yankees lose. The fundamentals is why you think this team should be worse. And other fan bases are looking at us Yankee fans like, you guys are spoiled. You guys are 500 or a game above 500. Yeah. You're only X amount of game. Like, yeah, but that's not acceptable for this team. We're supposed to be in our championship window. This team's supposed to be built to win a championship this year. We've got guys with $300 million contracts on this payroll. Yeah. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
Clear-cut favorites we were supposed to represent the goddamn American League this year. And I mean, I've said it time and time again on this, but like I just said on this pod, it's so crazy how the Yanks, this lineup is supposed to be way up here, big bad, all of that, and then it's not even like they drop down to average and you're like, okay, they regress, but they're still, hitting league average. Their regression is so beyond that they're at the bottom of the barrel in every statistical offensive category. It's baffling.
Yeah. Pretty bad. Let's just finish off these games and then get more into the talk. Mets just end up, after that Alonso home run, just pouring it on. Peraza doubles to left. Litke gives up some runs. That one fan that reached over Don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't be a
figure it out,
douchebag.
dude.
I saw a TikTok of him today, and he was like
with
kind
him
of proud.
talking.
Yeah, it was like something of him like being proud about it. I have it saved.
Oh, I assured us a double. And that's so corny. And then you got tossed, like, and whatever. They end up winning. Can I say something about this game? Because now I'm remembering how this game started. Marcus Stroman takes the mound in Yankee Stadium for the first time since all of his comments, and the defense behind him was shaky. There was a couple ground balls that were bobbled by Lindor. Could have been a double play. We're starting to get runners on. And Marcus Stroman recorded 0 strikeouts in 5 innings. We had multiple opportunities with runners on, and we didn't get enough. We didn't capitalize enough, in my opinion. In the beginning of this game,
for sure.
He was getting frustrated. You could visibly see him like, God damn it, fuck. Like you could see him upset because the defense behind him wasn't making the plays, wasn't getting outs. But the Yankees don't do enough to run away with it. We go up 3-1, and we end up in a tight game where, I put out a tweet. I was trying to not tweet about the games, but then when we need Garrett Cole to get outs and he can't get outs, I was like, on a scale of 1 to what the fuck, how worried are you about Garrett Cole? I'm like, I'm at what the fuck, because I've been watching this dude now for the last few weeks. Okay, the sticky tack thing was the Minnesota series, and he came out and shoved. I think he had a little extra adrenaline for that, but he got rocked against the Red Sox, our arch rival, and then he gave it up against the Mets, our crosstown rival. And it's like, bro, those are the 2 premium series, right? Those are the 2 biggest series that casuals are watching the Yankees. The casuals are watching our ace, our $36 million a year man, and he can't get it done. I'm like, we got too many problems with this team. And they're not problems just for right now. These are lingering problems. Garrett Cole has a 9-year contract. We are in year 2. The first year of Garrett Cole was the 2020 shortened season. That sucked. This year is the spider tack year. Next year, I'm calling it right now, there's going to be a lockout. There's going to be some type of issue with the collective bargaining agreement. And then we're a third of the way through the Cole contract, and it's like they got to blow this shit up. I guarantee you this team doesn't look the same in a couple years, and it's like, man, I'm telling you, we got some problems on our hands, and they're not going to just get solved by 1 or 2 moves.
They're certainly not easy fixes at all. But yeah, I mean, like you said, Keith, I mean, you're up 4-1 and you got your horse on the mound, dude. You're like, I mean, I had the so at this little, fan barbecue or whatever I was at, the game was on like in the basement through like the sliding glass window. So I was like, every time I go grab a drink or like grab some food, I'd peep through the window, check my phone, see what's going on. And I'm like, all right, we're up 4-1. We got this in the bag. Take both of them today. I'm feeling all right going into an off day. And then
how about no?
Yeah, how about no? And like you said, Keith, back to opportunities that they didn't capitalize on. I mean, just if you take it back to when they scored their 4th run in the 3rd inning, runners on the corners, no outs. Stanton grounds into a double play to make a 4-1. Inning's basically over after that. I mean, that's an inning where you could put up 5. I mean,
rally killer.
Yeah, the Mets can put up 5. Angels put up 7 on us in an inning. I mean, it's just the Yanks are allergic to shit like that, and they did it. They obviously did it that 1 inning against Ohtani, but in reality, it was a 3-hit inning of a double and 2 singles. I mean, the team doesn't crack shit open. I mean, it's definitely watching Garrett Cole pitch right now is not what you want to see either.
No, definitely not. They end up routing us 10-5, finishing out the first game. And then in the second game, we're already depressed. It's on primetime television, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. I unfortunately just decided to watch this game. Just said, I can't, I was just kind of sitting there. I was like kind of scrolling through my phone more. So a lot of the
You didn't go watch any fireworks? You didn't go?
I did go watch some fireworks for a little bit, but they sucked me in for a little bit. I'm not going to lie. And then I was just kind of, I'm embarrassed enough to say that I did watch some of this game, but I saw the important parts. Nestor Cortez is.
That's what it is. Nestor is what had me listening
to
the radio.
Electric. Nestor Cortez, let's see what his stat line was. He went 3 1/3, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, 0 walks. And then people will forget this because they won the game. But once again, another Boone instance that you say, I don't really know if I would have done that. Nestor is rolling. He then gives up a double to, I forget who it was. Let me just check real quick. He gives up a double, and they bring in Darren O'Day. And Darren O'Day hasn't really been in the game too much. He hasn't really been pitching as, consistently as we'd want our relievers to be pitching, obviously, because we've been losing games.
He just came off the IL too.
Yes.
Him and Wilson.
Oh, or what was it? Did they both come off together?
Yeah, they came off the same
time.
Okay. So you have that. Nestor Cortez, I think at the time, has like 56 pitches, I want to say. He's not up. Let's see. Yeah, he finished with 59 pitches. So then he gives up a double, and then they put in O'Day. I think they had an out as well, and they bring in O'Day, and then Pete Alonso then again hits a home run. And I'm just kind of, and like Nestor Cortez was just a meme the entire night when people were taking pictures of, like, screenshotting and putting it on Twitter. The dude is electric. And I just thought that was another move where it was like, oh, really? So we were up 3 at the time, courtesy of a Gio Urshela home run. But that was just another instance that I was like, why are we doing that? Didn't really make sense to me.
Not pressing the right buttons, not knowing what buttons to press, literally just guessing. All right, we'll press the Darren O'Day button now and hope this works.
Yeah, it didn't really make sense because Nestor Cortez, yes, he gave up the double, but the dude had been in his last outings was unreal. And I would have been okay if he ended up giving up the home run to Alonso. You say, okay, because I just don't feel like
they live with that more. You could live with that more.
Yes. So they go up. They're up 3-2 after the Alonso home run, and then the Yankees once again, best friend, probably hitting in the most RBIs for them all year, are pass balls, wild pitches, call them anything. Like, more times than not, we've had like winning walk-offs, a courtesy of or go-ahead runs are always, it seems to be, wild pitches. Like, this is the story of the Yankees, the 2021 Yankees. A lot of times it can be seen as these fuck-ups from other teams, and you're saying thank you. There at times you're like, you're gifting us a win at this moment. They go up 4-2 and they end up winning the game. Chad Green goes 3 innings, so Boone's decision worked out there. 6 Ks through an immaculate inning as well. Still, just after that first game, man, it just gives you a sour taste in your mouth, and you're just saying, okay, he gave that to us. He gave that to us, so you can't complain fully. But at the same time, you say the urgency wasn't there in the first game, and that just pisses you off because they're thinking about tomorrow too often, and that is why the 2021 Yankees have issues, and it's a lot of root to more issues. But they come out with 1 win. It was kind of okay, they got to win. At least the bleeding stops. And now we head on a West Coast road trip, and we play Seattle and the fucking Astros. Seattle has won, I think, 14 of their last 19. And the Houston Astros may well be the best team in the American League. I mean, they strike out. I think they're dead last in striking out. I think they're number 1 in runs produced. So it's going to be a tough week of baseball, and they're on the road. And I really don't know what to expect, boys. I really don't. It's going to be interesting.
Some late nights.
Good thing
we
have an excuse. We have an excuse to possibly doze off to sleep. I was telling Tyler, he's like, we got a lot of 10 o'clock games. Be like, I fell asleep. It was too late, East Coast time. And go, I'll wake up in the next morning and check my phone. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting, man.
I expect some of these guys to be 1 foot into the All-Star break, checked out, walking into the All-Star break Sunday. After that game, we get some time off. But yeah, it's a West Coast trip, and sometimes the West Coast trips can be just what the doctor ordered. Sometimes these guys get away, they go across the country, and they play better. But like you said, the Mariners are no slouch. They're 45-40. They are in the wild card hunt. I would say we're not really in the wild card hunt.
What are we, 5.5 back, I think?
Yeah, we're 5.5 back. There's literally 5 teams in front of us: Tampa, Oakland, Seattle, Toronto, and Cleveland. And then, like you said, with the Astros and our history with them, you think their fans aren't excited for the Yankees to come to their
a lot of fuck Judge chants.
Yeah, so that they can get their turn, right? They're hearing Yankee fans chant "fuck Altuve" weeks after the Astros played there. I expect their fans to be turned up and rowdy and giving it to our guys. And they're playing great baseball right now. They're hitting. Altuve is Altuve. Correa, like these guys they're looking like, I don't know, like they're on a mission to prove that they're still good baseball players without some of the, technology and cheating. So it could be a rough week for us, man. I hope the Yankees lock in. And like I said, sometimes a West Coast trip can be just what the doctor ordered. I hope that they lock in and say, hey, let's get it done out here. We can't go out here and play worse. And sometimes it's tough to play in the Bronx because, Yankee fans are going to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
You're going to literally be able to hear every pitch, someone saying something about you in New York. So maybe these guys turn it up in Seattle and in Houston.
So Keith, this is me and Tyler have obviously, and I'm sure you've been talking about it and we've kind of alluded to it, but now that we're kind of out of the games and talking about this Mets series, where do you place the blame the most? Is it we say that it's more onus on the players. I'm starting to come around and thinking more of the lines that I'm going to start pointing the finger a little bit more at Brian Cashman. And I never thought I would be saying that. And I haven't, I'll just say it now. My interesting comparison, and Tyler, you could take it because I know that you put more onus on the players, obviously, like all of us. Cashman's a good general manager. I think he gets a job where if he gets fired or leaves, I think he's getting a job somewhere else. Aaron Boone, not so sure. But my comparison that I was thinking about today was shout out. I don't really like comparing different sports, but this was something that I kind of saw a little parallels to. And shout out Talking Nets because it's in the NBA. You guys have been doing a great job with that. See you guys doing a lot of viral stuff over there. But I look at this team and I have a lot of friends that are Boston Celtics fans and they talk about, and I looked at them and I said, why the fuck do you guys have Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens there for it's been 8 years that they've had those guys in set with that regime of young players, kind of similar parallels to younger players with the Yankees, right? Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, all these guys, they have Tatum and Brown. And I said, why do you guys stick with this group? Like it's been 8 years with that regime with the young players and it's just not exactly clicking and they keep having playoff appearances and they keep getting bounced and it's not working. And there's just something there that's just not clicking. And not saying that Danny Ainge is a bad general manager, not saying that Brad Stevens isn't a capable coach. Obviously they decided to, for whatever reason, to make him the general manager. That's for a different sport. But it's just like, I see a lot of parallels in that and saying, there have been bigger shakeups in sports. I understand that Brian Cashman is a good general manager at the end of the day, but it seems that he's taken a lot of control. A lot of the control has gone from the dugout to the boardroom, and he hasn't really excelled as much as we'd like when it comes to analytical baseball, as much as other teams. And obviously you have to keep that in mind when you are in this new age of baseball, like analytical baseball. I think like David Cohn and Paul O'Neill, they were arguing about it over the Fenway series. Yeah. And I think that Cohn made a lot of good points that there are certain areas, like when people put a blanket over analytics, that's not fair. And I agree with that. But it just seems to me that Brian Cashman, I don't want to say he was rushed into it, but it was kind of like a gold rush with this analytical stuff when the Rays started doing it. Then the Red Sox are plucking guys from the Rays. And I just don't think that Brian Cashman has really done a good job. And you could say, well, it's the players, but he is the architect of that team. And you could just look at the results and it's just saying, okay, we know that the players are going to still be there. There's not a lot of flexibility that they can do with this roster, at least what it seems. We'll see what they do. But who are the expendable players or expendable people on this team? And something that can bring change, and that's the manager and the general manager, as however harsh that may be. And I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm feeling. If that comparison makes any sense between us and the Celtics in that sense, you can tell me I'm an idiot, but I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking about, man.
You're not an idiot. Give me the next 3-4 minutes to, I guess, piggyback off of what you're saying. You asked, what is the one thing, right? If I had to put my finger on one thing, and I'm a Cashman guy. I literally have the Cashman rules everything around me shirt. I've met Brian Cashman. He was my profile picture for a while. People made a meme of me, like, look at Look at Keith, or find someone that looks at you like Keith looks at Brian Cashman. I love Cashman because, you know, he was here in 98. He was here in 2009. He was here, you know, like in those years where we did, you know, between those years where we did win World Series, he was here. But now it's time for Cashman to be held accountable. You spoke on this analytically driven league and like the gold rush to analytics. And I think we did jump into that pool before we were actually ready. Before this team was built to be analytically driven, we were kind of trying to do the copycat league thing, like, you know, outsmart Tampa. Tampa uses an opener. We're going to start using an opener, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it like that. And that's going to give us an excuse to have one less starter, because for a while we were going Chad Nestor, right? Using Chad Green as the opener, and then Nestor coming in 2019. And then we even get into the postseason and you see some goofy shit like Davy Garcia opening up for J Happ. Disaster. I don't know how they arrived at that being the right thing to do. And then even this year, Mike King is being forced as a starter when it's been obvious for weeks now that he could use an opener, that he's better out of the bullpen. He came in, what was it? What game did he come in? Was it
he came in the Saturday game.
And he pitched great. And
he had 9 Ks.
Like, Joe's is like, Mike King is awesome. And I'm like, yeah, he is awesome. We just don't use him correctly because somebody says, keep running him out there with these analytics. Now, analytics are one thing, but when you look at how this team was built, you can't just look at this year and this roster. I was having a conversation with a friend at this party yesterday about how Lance Lynn is an all-star this year, how Sonny Gray was an all-star in the past years. And those two guys were on this team. Those two guys we traded for. Those two guys we'd love to have in this rotation now. Maybe not Sonny Gray as much. I haven't been keeping up with him. I don't think he's an all-star this year. But Lance Lynn has really figured it out. And we gave up on him. We gave up on Sonny Gray. Why? Because we had Larry Rothschild. Because we didn't have the analytical stuff that they needed. And Sonny Gray actually went on R2C2 and talked about how the Yankees were behind in what they could help them with, what they could do. Like, Larry was just forcing him to throw pitches that he didn't want to throw. And then he said he goes to Cincinnati with Trevor Bauer, and these guys have all of the technology and resources to get your spin rate up, to get you throwing your best pitches that the Yankees did not have.
Just goes back to them not putting players in the best.
Coaching is part of building the team, right? So Marcus Timms, it's another coach, right? They fired Larry. They brought in Matt Blake. Matt Blake, I'm not sure if Matt Blake is good or bad or what he is.
I don't even know what he does.
I don't really even know if he's helped, if he hasn't helped or what. But when we look at the way these guys hit, Marcus Timms should have been fired 10 different times. With this lineup struggling, someone should have been held accountable. Why is it that like guys like Paul O'Neill and people from the outside can look at Gary Sanchez's swing or Gleyber Torres' swing and figure out what's wrong with them before the hitting coach that works with them every day? Okay. Yeah. So like we've already talked about, you know, letting players go. We've talked about not having the right coaches. Well, there's also a part of this team that's fucked up because of the chemistry in the locker room. Decisions were made with a guy like Didi Gregorius, who was a known leader in the locker room. Didi came here and had to replace Derek Jeter. No, Didi hadn't won anything, but he had gone through a lot. He had dealt with fans booing him one week, then loving him the next once he figured it out. You didn't want to take his option on. You didn't want to pay him because you had this genius idea that Gleyber Torres could be your full-time shortstop. He could be an all-star shortstop and hit for power like he did in 2019 when he was playing second base. Well, it is clear to me that he can't do both. Alex Rodriguez was on the broadcast and he said, playing shortstop, that's a 10 out of 10 difficulty. Playing second base, that's like a 5 out of 10 difficulty. So when you come into a game and you have a 10 out of 10 difficulty on one side of the ball, it does affect your approach when you get to the plate. Gleyber has been bad at the plate. There's been times where he hasn't hustled. There's been times where he pretended that he foul tipped the ball. There's times where he's just looked completely lost. That falls on Cashman. You made the decision not to re-sign our shortstop, not to go get another shortstop, especially when there's this class of shortstops we just saw, right? Because you banked on Gleyber Torres being able to just go on the other side of second base and be able to do it. You were wrong with that. And maybe by the time Gleyber's 26, 27, he can do it, but that was a miss. Giancarlo Stanton, You go and get Giancarlo Stanton after this team was a game away from the World Series. And people were saying, why would you go get another right fielder that's over 6'4" and hits bombs? You got Aaron Judge. You don't need two of those guys, right-handed guys for hitting for power that play right field. Well, the evil empire thought it was back by making this move. We get him, and he's got a no-trade clause. He's going to be here for a while. And he, for some reason, has not been thrown out in left field, I think, since 2018. We need him to play the outfield to free up that DH spot. It's going to give us flexibility. We saw what happened when Stanton was hurt. That's how Gary got back, right? Because it's like we can put Gary in at DH and he can get his swings in. And then Gary started going on a tear because we had that flexible DH spot. This team was constructed without, okay, Aaron Hicks. You give Aaron Hicks 7 years, $70 million. You know the guy is fragile. You know he hasn't put it together for 162, but you locked him in for 7 years with this team. He had Tommy John surgery. And then he comes in this year, he's hurt, he's out for the year now. So you're forced to put Brett Gardner there. Brett Gardner is a guy that you brought back, not because of how great of a player he is, but because you felt like an emotional attachment to the guy. He can't play center field every day. We can't rely on him every day. So now you got to put your right fielder and Aaron Judge in center field. And when you put him in center field, you got Clint Frazier to his right, who we know has always been shaky in the outfield. He has made some improvements. Yes, he has put together some highlight reel catches diving, but he's still not a solid defender. And then to his left, or his right in left field, you have Miguel Andujar, a converted third baseman to a left fielder. So you're out there playing with guys that don't really have the experience to play outfield, whether it's in Yankee Stadium or whether it's in Fenway Park. We saw what a mess that was. You traded away Tauchman, not too big of a loss, but that's a guy that we know could play all three of the positions, and he was a left-handed bat. You constructed this team. I heard the broadcast say the Mets are constructed better for Yankee Stadium than the Yankees are for Yankee Stadium.
I heard that too, yeah.
And that blew me away. The Mets have so many left-handed hitters on their team.
Such a balanced lineup.
It's a balanced lineup. They're set up for more success in Yankee Stadium than the Yankees are. It's on Cashman, bros. It's on Cashman, bro. That was like probably 6-7 minutes. But I could go on. I'm probably going to do it on Pinstripe Strong. We have to be pointing the finger at Cashman. Yeah. You gave Garrett Cole $300+ million. You took him from the cheaters. You didn't look into what they were doing over there. The whole league knew, right? Oh, these pitchers go to Houston and they're magically better. They're striking out more guys. Their stuff's moving nastier. They're cheaters. You knew they were cheaters. And you had to sign Cole when you did because he was a white whale. And you had to do it because it's like, yo, you got nothing. Tanaka's on the way out. CeCe was on the way out. You had to go get the top pitcher off the market because you passed for so many years on guys. And it's like, yo, Cashman's got to be held accountable for it. And I know Hal Steinbrenner isn't, but the fans, like I told you, I said, I'm a Cashman guy. But this is the first year where I'm like, okay, you made this team out of napkins and you're wondering why shit is folding. It's Cashman's fault, bro. He went bargain bin hunting and he got us Jay Bruce. And we had to suffer through Jay Bruce for the first part of the season. We're like, that wasn't it. Jay Bruce, Derek Dietrich, Justin Wilson, Darren O'Day, Corey Kluber. It's the last thing I'll say.
3 of our starters are made up of
You gave
guys
Corey Kluber $11 million. Where's he at? Where's he at?
Not to mention we have $30 million in the bullpen right now. With dudes that are blowing us games in Britain and
Chapman makes $16 million a year. Britain makes another, 10 million
14,
plus, 13 million. And he's hurt. And he was giving it up when it just looks bad. It looks bad. It's like your decisions with the money, your decision with the roster. Like there's so many decisions and you got to go back. You got to go back a couple years and look at this team. Look at this team from the 2017 team to now. Because once the Yankees were a game away from the World Series, people looked at this team as a competitor. They looked at this team as a team that should compete for the American League pennant. Why do we regress?
I thought we were winning titles, like plural, in 2017.
We regressed because the Yankees got too smart. They outsmarted themselves. And guys like Brian Cashman, Michael Fishman, whoever else is in that group that figures out who's going to coach these guys and what guys are going to be on this team, you made some mistakes. And now you got to be accountable. Don't look at the players and say, oh, it's on the players. Like, you didn't put this team together the right way. You didn't put the coaches together for these guys. Like, it's a mess right now. And the only way that it's going to change is if these guys are accountable. They're not going to be held accountable. They're not going to lose their jobs, but they have to make it right. Go out and make the trades. Go out and blow this shit up. Go out and see what you can get for Aaron Judge at this point. It's that bad. Go out there and see what you can get for Aaron Judge at this point, because something has to change quickly.
See, I think they just got to figure out what their core is, because it's clearly not what you're putting together right now. And like Rob said, and you said as well, Keith, I mean, I'm a big Cashman fan as well. I have been. I don't have 100% of the blame on him, but I think this year has really shown where all of his holes are. Because, like you said, we have a converted third baseman playing left field. We have statistically the worst fielding outfielder in right field. We have our superstar right fielder playing center field. We have Luke Voigt, who could easily be a DH, playing first base. We have DJ playing third at times. We have Gio playing short. We have our starting shortstop playing second when DJ's at third. It's just a round robin, like, absolute circus act shit show.
DJ can't get comfortable. DJ doesn't want to play first base. Talking Yanks joked about DJ doesn't want to play first because he's got to talk to everybody that gets on base. He don't want to talk. He don't want to talk to the opposing players. He don't want to talk to his own teammates. But they move him around mid-game every day. He checks the lineup. Yeah, he's the leadoff hitter, but he could be playing first, second, or third. Like, let the guy get comfortable. He can't. Yeah. He can't. And then when you look at this rotation, let's talk about Domingo Germán, right? Domingo Germán was granted a second chance, and so far he has done shit with that second chance. He can go
at first.
At first, he looked good. Then they sent him down right away. Like, he looked good in spring training. That's when he looked good. And then when he came in, they had to send him down. And when he came back, he looked all right. But I'm like, this guy, with what is on his rep, what people know about him, he shouldn't be in the rotation. But that was the cheap route for Cashman. Okay, we don't got to go get another starter. We got Domingo coming back after the suspension. Jameson Taillon, we can trade a couple guys that we won't know what they're going to be and get Taillon. Corey Kluber, 11 mil. We got Eric Cressy. Eric Cressy says he's rehabbed. He's good to go. We'll do that. We got Garrett Cole. We're not going to pay Tanaka to come back. Tanaka's time is done here. We're going to go Monty. Monty's been with us for some time. That's our only left-handed arm. We're going to go with Monty, and that's going to be our rotation. And honestly, I'm coming into this season like, hey, if these guys stay healthy, we should be good. But what can happen will. Kluber gets hurt. The spider tack changes Garrett Cole's pitching. Domingo gets sent down. He comes back. He hasn't been solid. Monty's been okay. But we can't put together back-to-back games of dominant pitching. Like, we can't have two dominant starts in a row.
We don't have a two-starter, let alone maybe a three, if you can consider Monty a three. I'm not really at this moment in time. I'm not necessarily worried about Garrett Cole just because, I mean, his velo is up. I think it's going to come with some adjustments. I think when he gets command eventually, and when he can kind of get used to throwing without whatever he was previously throwing with, I think he'll be all right, because I don't know. I feel like people have said it before. If everyone was elite, could be elite with spider tack, everyone would have been elite with spider tack. So I think he'll come around when he gets his command.
I think he'll be all right. But we paid him to be the best pitcher in the American League for the next 9 years. You feel me? Like,
I think he could be up there, though.
I think the book is out on him. I think these guys know what to look for. I think these guys are waiting on certain pitches now, and that's how the game of shadows is. As soon as Donaldson called him out, people started talking and chirping. It's like they're all over him. I don't know. It's not good. It's not good for us as Yankee fans, because we are locked into Garrett Cole. We got Garrett Cole. We were so pumped about Garrett Cole, and then we walk into a 60-game season his first year. Whack. Now this year we walk into a spider tack dead ball season that we don't know what to expect, and we're just a 500 ball club. And like I said, year 3 to me is looking like collective bargaining agreement lockout. Like, we might not be playing 162 next year, and who knows? Hopefully he'll adjust. But like I said, we paid him to be a Cy Young winning ace for the next decade, and I don't know if we're going to get that. Like, this contract already looks sketchy.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with what you said, man. It's really concerning. Maybe I'm one of the ignorant Yankee fans. I do have like a sliver of hope that Hal was just playing lip service, but it was concerning that he didn't even shift any sort of blame on Brian Cashman during that.
He loves him.
Their baby, man. There's no.
It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
I'd be so. I mean, he's been with the Steinbrenners for how long?
They're family.
Yeah, got to be over 20, 25 years.
It's like I don't even know how to like
aren't they
what to equate it to in sports. It's really kind of I always laugh at people when they say the shit of like, oh, what if George was here? You know, Hal running the team.
Yeah, I never.
But
say that.
I'm really starting to think, not like fully on that, but I'm saying like, come on, Hal, and he runs it. He runs it like a business. And the only reason I have a little sliver of hope is because he goes, oh, we're gonna have a sellout by mid-July. Be sure of it. Be sure of it.
Yeah.
And me knowing Keith. Me and Tyler knowing as Knicks fans, before this prior season, I go on full protest. I did not want to go to the stadium because of James Dolan and the team.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking if like a little bit of the Yankees with the attendance and he sees that displeasure and he sees the numbers in his pocket going down, is like the only way I could really see it continue to be like, should I really rethink having Brian here? You know, cut him out of the family. But
They're fooled right now. Shohei Ohtani's start, what was that, last Wednesday when we blew it? Fuck. That was the most people that have been in the stadium since October 2019 ALCS.
It was like 35 or something.
It was over 30. I think it was just over 30,000. And then you get the Mets series, which I haven't checked the numbers on how many people were at these.
I think it was 40,000, but that's like 40, half Mets fans, though.
Exactly. That's not your fan base, right? Attendance 40,000 for the Saturday game, which is that obviously is the most. 42 for the second game. The first game of the doubleheader, and then another 42 for the Sunday night baseball game. So they're fooled right now. Oh, we're doing all right. We're starting to sell tickets. It's ticking up. But it's like, no, Shohei Ohtani mania drove prices up or not prices up. Shohei Ohtani mania brought more people to the stadium Wednesday than the Mets fans coming to kick your ass in your own stadium because they are also living in New York is what drove it up. We'll see what happens after the All-Star break. And if the Yankees are playing like this still and struggling still, I ain't got it. I don't got the money to keep going to the stadium and be upset and buy beers. And that's what they did Friday, right? They opened the stadium up knowing they were going to postpone that game just so people could come in there and buy beers, buy merch, and then they could tell you, go home now. And it's like, I can't with the product on the field, so I'm not going to show up.
Especially when they sell those, what do they sell like all you can eat like shit?
Yeah, they sell you packages that the incentive is all you can eat, or all you can eat like hot dogs, peanuts, pretzels.
Yeah, the first like 5 innings or something like that.
Yeah, and then it's like I don't even want to get into the business of it because I know too much about like the ticket office and how they do this stuff. But that's the next thing, right? When the fans decide, fuck you, we're not pulling up, we're not coming there every game.
We're getting
back
close
in this
to that.
team, back in this organ, and when it starts to look light. And the numbers, if they can't, that's why they brought the bobbleheads back, because they're like, damn, we gotta do something to get people in the stands. Yeah. If they can't,
David Cohn wants the Scooby-Doo one. I heard that was so funny.
It might help for a little while, but if they can't consistently win games, they're not going to consistently have fans in there. So
that's what it's going to take to wake them up.
But we'll see what happens, man. I mean, that's the only thing I could really think of being the driving force, but give it a bad week, a West Coast trip. They have a tough schedule after the All-Star break against Red Sox twice.
Wait.
Red Sox 2 series and Tampa.
Those I think, what do we play? The Sox like 8 out of 11 games. 8 games.
Twice in July.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna decide their season quick. You don't win 5 or 6 of those games.
Phillies, we got another 2 with the Phillies. They took 2 from us when we went to Philadelphia. They come to the Bronx. They could easily take another 2. Then we got to go to Miami, face Jeter's squad. You think they don't want to beat the Yankees? Of course they do. Donnie Baseball, of course they want to beat the Yankees. So,
Giancarlo won't play the field, though.
Hey, supposedly he should be out there.
He's supposed to be getting ready so that series he could be out in the field. But
He's-
that needs to happen before that series.
He's been building up for 2 years.
No fucking way.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't see it. But yeah, we're gonna have to see what this stretch does, man. It's gonna be mad interesting to see. You know, if
Yankees
they
go
show
2
any
and 4 this
semblance of
week
life.
too.
Yeah, they can easily. Keith? Last thing before we leave you off, do you think with a bad stretch here, do you at least think like there's a possibility Boone will be fired during the season, or no? Is that not what you're thinking?
No, he's attached to Cashman. He's
Yeah, they're at the
handpicked by Cashman. And like I said, they're just the business and the class of the Yankees. They don't want to be the guys to fire someone mid-season. They are going to ride this out. If we see Boone get chopped, it'll be in the offseason. But they are going to give him the rest of the season to try and figure it out. And like I already said, he's attached to Cashman. So, no, I don't think that.
Yeah.
I think this team could lose every game into the All-Star break, come out and lose game, and they're just going to keep telling us, blowing smoke up our ass, telling us that, you know,
We're rounding the corner.
They're rounding the corner. We have the capabilities. You know, this team is going to figure it out. These guys want it. They're frustrated too, and we're working and all this other nonsense.
Boone is he's the director of public relations for the New York Yankees.
Nobody fears the Yankees anymore. No,
we're not better than anyone.
No teams are stepping out there looking at the Yankees like, oh, this is the big bad Yankees. They're laughing at us. So.
Yeah.
Before we start to head out, Keith, as of right now, just kind of your guesstimate, Yanks making the playoffs or what?
Nah, and I don't even want it. And like, you know, I think Joe's would probably get mad if he heard me say that, because I hate when I see people like hoping we get swept. That's something you never say. But at this point, I do not want to limp into another postseason and be set up for failure. I do not want to sneak in with a wild card or sneak into a series with a team that's better than us and just be a first round exit. I think it would be more impactful if we came up short and everyone had that moment where they realized we're not in the postseason and you got to watch the fucking Red Sox run through the postseason and potentially get back to a World Series again. Or just as bad, the Houston Astros that we all hate. What if it ends up Astros Red Sox in the American League Championship and we're sitting it out? That would be more impactful to this organization. That would be the gut punch. That would be a slap in the face. Your worst enemies are ahead of you. They both cheated. They both got their cheating manager back in Boston, and their cheating players didn't go punished, and they're right back competing for championships, and you're not.
Yeah. It's bad. Not a good situation. Well, on that note, Keith, we appreciate you coming on today, bro. It's always good to talk to you. It was good to see you at the stadium. Maybe, you know, if we do decide to go to another game this year, which I'm sure I will at some point.
Yeah, I am. I say that, but I'm gonna go because where I live, I live here because I'm 25 minutes driving to the stadium, and I'm part of the culture, man. This is what we do. We go to games, but it's all good. It was great running into you at the stadium. Like I said, bro, I appreciate you guys. I started listening to your podcast after you had me on the first time in the off season. I've seen you guys build on social media, kill it with the memes, really find your voice on the pod, really find your lane. And like I said, there's so many people out here doing this Yankee shit. And I feel like you guys have really just figured out who you two are and what you want to do. And people are taking to it. And I'm happy to support and happy to jump on the pod whenever.
Appreciate it, brother.
You rock.
Appreciate it.
You rock, Keith. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So have a good whenever your wedding party is or anything. Hope you guys have a good time, and congratulations once again on that, man. Shout out to you. At least you got, you know, that with the Yankees and obviously the Nets, it was a bad situation, but now you get to focus on.
Hey, I'm having a good summer, man.
Yes.
I got married last week. We had the 4th of July. I'll have the the party Saturday, and then I'll fly to Denver for the All-Star game the next day. So I'm gonna just enjoy my time. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Who you got for the home run derby? Who you got winning that?
Shohei, go ahead and win it, bro.
Sure,
Shohei.
I want to see Shohei win.
That dude, he's unreal. All right, well, that is it for episode number 51 of the 4 Train Savages podcast. Once again, please be sure to subscribe to the pod, leave us a rate and review, follow us on our social medias on Twitter and Instagram at 4 Savages on Twitter, at 4 Train Savages on the IG. That is it for episode 51. We'll catch you guys next time.